All right. IRL tier 2 at Bahrain. Whole 14 people, bruh. Whole 14 people in this, John. We love it. I have one of the freaking flattest burgers I think I've ever eaten in my life. But it's food. I like food, so. This is what I get for ordering a burger at a wing place. Alright, qualifying has officially started. Why do you hate me, Solz? It's not very nice. All the AI generated bakers and marshals, right. We love them. Oh, shit, I wasn't just in my... Okay, yeah, I'm an idiot, bro. Nobody saw that. Alright, so we have Santi out of the pits first. It was a good way of getting my point across, Solz. Whatever. Alright, Odre needs a another request. So. I need an intro. My intro would be like just frickin' Toasty oven bread, bro. Alright, so double people. Who have I not seen? Ethan Davies, I think he's new. Sergeant Poon Slayer. That's a name. He's new. Kiwi. And Captain Redbeard for Red Bull, making his debut Red Bull. I guess debut full-time Red Bull? I don't know. I don't know what you'd call that. Alright, so Santi will be the first toss out. And to be setting a lap. Alright, and get your mind out of the cutter. Alright, Santi starting his lap. What can he do? This is a medium speed circuit, very, very fun. I was supposed to race, but Andrew had other ideas. Santi heading through the first sector into the DRS zone. Heading into sector, or heading towards sector 2 now. Obviously, purple sector 1, because nobody else has set a sector 1 time yet. Santi heading through into the first hairpin, and now he's on the straightaway into the DRS detection zone, and into the second hairpin onto the DRS zone, looking very nice for Santi. He's going to be looking for a nice time for the Hosses today through the DRS zone, heading into the little S section. Not using all of the track, but we're watching him as he's going on his lap into this corner where you want to be as quick as you can onto the power, because you have a long straightaway. Another purple sector for him. Once again, that's just because nobody else has sector. Into the final corner, he is going to be really pushing, looking for a good time here, even though it's his first run. What can Santi set? Looking at a 30.2, very nice for Santi. Here's Dan. Dan heading through the final corner. He's going to be looking for a good time for the McLaren team, which is racing today. 129.3 goes him. It's Don. For Aston Martin goes 28.9. And here's Chonk for the Alpines, 28.8, setting the fastest time. Audrey out on a outlap. We got Solz. Solz through the final corner. Where will he put himself? Will he find another fastest time, or will he have to settle? He will be getting a 29.2, going P3 behind Aston. Red Panda on an outlap, about to start his lap. Here's KNYT Kid, and his Ferrari 29.5 goes P5 for KNYT Kid. Here's Sergeant Spoon Slayer starting his lap. Sub-Zero for race on the intermediate set of tires, looking to be just warming up maybe a little bit, putting out some extra rubber, looking very nice. A 35.8 goes Sub-Zero on the inters. Here's Randro and the Aston Martin going 28.3, going the fastest time overall by 5/10. Holy crap. Santi with an invalid lap, going to be heading into the pits now after his cooldown lap. It's not getting past the McLaren, even though they're both on their end laps. Shonk also on an end lap, probably. Audrey on a lap. See what he can do heading through Sector 3. He's going to have a little bit of traffic in front of him, but hopefully they get out of the way and don't affect him too much. Over the apex on the final corner, he's going to be pushing, looking for a time. Looking for maybe better than Santi, but 31.2 goes Audrey for a P8. Solz going into the pits. Here's Red Panda to set his first lap of the day, 29 flat for a P5. Sergeant Poonslayer to the line goes 28.8 with a P3 right behind his teammate Chonk. Sergeant Poonslayer is reserving for Andrew today, so there's a lack of a Andrew on the grid. Chonk getting a little bit on his time as we're heading through Sector 2 in the DRS zone. Maybe looking to improve it by 5/10, maybe set a provisional pole lap time on his technically third lap out. Purple Sector 2 goes Chong on the scrubbed set of softs, looking to set a better time than what he set in the first place. To the final quarter, here comes Chonquito. He's going to be going under the Gulf Air sign and to the line, 28.3. Losing out that provisional pole by 0.06. So unfortunate. Audrey, probably not on a lap. I think he will be starting one though. KNYT going out on another one. I'm not heading into the pits. Red Panda letting a Sergeant Poon by. Even though Sergeant Poon is coming into the pits. Captain Redbeard on an outlap. So I'm just looking for people who are like doing stuff right now. Audrey! Up on his lap as we're heading through the S section in Sector 2. Looking as he heads into the hairpin. Just going to watch him for a little bit, see what he can set his Sector 2, and see if he can get another really good lap, and see if he can't improve his time, maybe putting himself in the top 5. He only has to increase by a second to beat his teammate. He has to increase by 2 if he wants to put himself up there. Audrey heading into the S's in Sector 2, out of Sector 2 into Sector 3. He's going to be just about a 10th up on his time, so I don't know how much he's going to be able to find here. Chunkito going to be starting yet another one, it looks like, after getting a 33.7. Audrey, here he is, coming to the final corner. What can he do? That blinking light is on, and he's just going to head right into the pits. Ethan Davies with a purple Sector 1, driving for the Red Bull team today as, unfortunately, I think Leandro could not make it due to unfortunate wildfires in his area, so make sure that your thoughts and prayers go out to him as he's dealing with that. But Ethan Davies reserving for him. Captain Redbeard, 28 flat, going our provisional pole in that Red Bull. Sorry with the mood swing. Ethan Davies going purple Sector 2. These Red Bulls still having a lot of pace. Even if it isn't their original starting lineup. Remember, their original starting lineup was Leandro and Kudo. Kudo had retired after Singapore due to some issues. And they got Captain Redbeard to fill in. 27.6 goes Ethan Davies with a provisional pole. Kiwi into the pits. Sub-Zero on an outlap, looking to maybe start something soon. Chonk into the pits. And here is Sub-Zero starting his first lap on the slips. Anyways, back to the Red Bull. They started with Kudo and Leandro. Kudo, unfortunately, retired from IRL. And Leandro, as I said, is unfortunately dealing with some wildfires in his area. So he just wasn't able to make it today. But please think about him. Thoughts and prayers. Solzy to the line with a 28.8 going P5. Santi in the Haas 30 flat going P11. Captain Redbeard going into the pits. Stan in an invalid lap. Sergeant Poon, Slayer, starting his outlap. And Randro also on an outlap. Who is not on outlaps or in laps? I think everyone. We're going to go to Sub-Zero. Sub-Zero looking to set a time. He has Red Panda as his teammate. So he's looking to impress his team principal. Maybe show something strong and make him see him a little better. Sub-Zero going to be coming into the DRS. Looking to set a nice time. Here he crosses the line with a 30.3 going P12. And that V-Carb. Dre starting his outlap. There's fast lap, sorry. Santi up about a second. Dan on an outlap. Solz not up on his time at all. Randro with an invalid lap. So unfortunate if he was trying to set a fast one. Sub-Zero starting his out lap. Sergeant Poon Slayer coming into Sector 2 S's. Looking to improve his time, maybe match Chonquito. Showing his worth on the Alpine team. About a 10th down right now as he starts his Sector 3. Sergeant Poon Slayer to the line. Going to be coming with a 28.6, going P5, right behind his teammate Chunky. Sub-0 for race in that V-carb. Going to be cutting a corner. Ethan Davies from pole position retires from session with a 17.6. Dre in his Haas looking for something maybe. Going to be heading to the line. What can Dre get from P13 to P13 even though he increased by 6.5 tenths? So unfortunate. Dan, 28.8, going P7 right behind Solz, his teammate today. Panda in Sector 2 DRS looking for a time, looking for something, maybe hoping to get out of that P9 spot. We'll have to see what he can do, though, going very, very wide as he heads into the S's. That V-carb livery looking so nice this year. 3 seconds up, though, unfortunately. Ston on his outlap. Red Panda is not quite on a lap just quite yet to judge. Sitting in P14 without a lap set. Same with Kiwi, who's still in the pits. We still got time. But I think now is when people and everyone is heading out of the pit lane. We'll just have to sit and watch. The judge going to be starting his lap very, very early, but that's okay. Solventy is starting a lap. Dan coming into the pit lane after invalidating his lap, even though he was 2 tenths down, unfortunate for him. Oh, Dre to the line, 43.3 with an invalid lap, probably starting a fast lap right now. KNYT Kid on an outlap, going to be the first person on their outlap, I think, maybe. Aston looking for something. He's in P8 right now. Maybe looking to propel his Aston Martin up a bit. If he can find 3 tenths, he'd put himself in the top 5. So we'll have to see what he can do. Welcome, Lewis, with his little PP message. Into the Sector 2 S's. What can he do? He's going to be looking for a good time, Aston. Looking for something here. Purple Sector 2, 2 tenths down on his time. Very, very nice as he heads into the little final straightaway before the final corner. Holy, I just mixed corner and turn into one word and got corn. Or kern? Whatever I said, I don't know. Aston to the line looking for something. 28.6. Going P8, or P6, sorry, behind Sergeant Hoon Slayer. The judge on an invalid lap. He's going to be coming into the pits. Not able to set a lap time out today. So unfortunate. Never mind. He pranked me. He's not coming into the pits. He'll be starting another fast lap. Dre heading it down into Sector 3. His teammates swerving all around him. These guys are going to be starting laps very shortly. Captain Redbeard also on an out lap. Shankita on an out lap, looking to propel himself into that top 3 where he desperately wants to go. Randro sitting P3 with a 28.33, looking to improve his time. We've seen this man up there so many times before, so can he maybe separate the Red Bulls? We'll have to watch and wait and find out. But for now, it is Captain Redbeard who is on his lap, looking and watching, seeing what he can do. He's going to be looking for something really, really nice here. Trying to show up his teammate who was able to go 5 tenths faster, than Captain Redbeard. So he's going to have a lot of work to do if he wants to show Davis that he is a good driver, that he is the reason that he is filling in for Kudo through Sector 2's hairpin. the first one at least into the second one, looking to see what Captain Redbeard can do. It's going to be very tight here. Going to have to put in a lot of work if you want to find that much time. Ethan Davies set a very, very fast time. But this track has gotten a lot better, so we'll just have to watch and see what can happen here. The judge coming into the pit lane, not setting a lap at all. Kiwi will be setting a lap, maybe. We'll just have to watch and wait. Captain Redbeard, though, he is heading through the little third sector, looking to increase his time. Watching a Haas come into the pit lane. Here is Captain Redbeard to the line of the 27.8, going P2 still. Chonkita goes P2. Separating the Red Bulls, I'm stuck on Solz for some reason. Chonkito with 27.7 going P2. Right behind Ethan Davies. Randro with an invalid lap. So unfortunate with his last one, so he's going to stay exactly where he is. Kiwi in the kick Sauber looking for something here. Kiwi is going to be pushing and pushing to the line into the DRS zone. Goes Kiwi to the line, 27.8 going P4 behind Kevin Redbeard. Sergeant Poonslayer going pole position with a 27.4. Holy crap! Oh my gosh! Solzy BA with a 28.6. Red Panda 28.5 going P9. Dan with a 28.5 going P8. And KNYT Kid crushing at the line. So here's your qualifying order. It's Sergeant Poonslayer, Ethan Davies will be your front row. Chonkito in P3, Captain Redbeard in P4. So it's going to be an Alpine Red Bull, Alpine Red Bull. Going to be very, very heavy on the Alpine Red Bull rivalry today. Going to have to watch and wait and see what they can do. It's going to be so hard for so many of them fighting. But it's going to be curious. Sergeant Poonslayer in that pole position, like I said. Ethan Davies in P2. Chonkito in P3. Captain Redbeard P4. Kiwi sits in P5 for the Kick Sauber. Raindro in P6. After a rougher qualifying, KNYT Kid P7. Dan in P8. Red Panda in P9. Solzy in P10 after sandbagging a lot. Eston in P11. Santi in P12. Sub-Zero for race P13. Dre in P14. And a judge starting in the back of the grid, not able to set a valid lap. Solz saying that he sucks around here. Solz, how does that setup feel? I actually haven't tested that one, so is it good? Or do I need to look for a different one? Ethan Davies, yeah, in that P2. I don't know, Andrew. I wasn't there for it. But he seems very fast, and Chonkito seems very upset by that. So, I don't know. Just waiting for the message to go out about going to the grid, even though I have to send it, and I don't know when to send it. So, I'm just going to use my best hopes and admirations and see when I want to send it out. Maybe I'll have them sit in their pit boxes for like 20 minutes. We'll see. We'll see what I do. And I wish someone would actually tell me what to do, because I fucking hate this, bro. I have no idea what I'm doing. Please, please, never leave me again, Andrew. So I don't know how long I need to be waiting for this message to go out. But yeah, this Red Bull Alpine rivalry is going to go very, very rough today, with it being a Alpine Red Bull. Alpine Red Bull going to be very interesting to see how that shakes up things. Maybe give it another minute before I send something out. We'll see. We'll see what I do. I don't know. Maybe I'll just sit here for another 3 minutes waffling. Lewis Hamilton in that Ferrari garage. So unfortunate. Unpopular opinion, Lewis Hamilton needs to retire. I don't know. I'm just going to send out the message now. If I get in trouble, it's not my fault. I was never given instructions. I just use my best guess. I waited a good chunk of time. Solz is not very appreciative of me right now. Are we going to grid or like what's going on? I feel like it's been a minute. All right, here in Bahrain in the desert, we have 5 red lights, and away we go for the secure Grand Prix. The Alpines lead the way. Ethan Davies trying to get past. It's going to be really close. Sergeant Poonslayer wants to keep his position, but we're going to have to see how much carnage there is. Looks like there's a kick. Breaking a sign. Not a lot of carnage, surprisingly. But there is now. Look at this. So many people off track. Going and looking. Chunk getting into that P2 spot. There's a virtual safety car out. So places are going to stay the same right now. Captain Redbeard down into 8th place. So unfortunate for him. Yeah, you can see that both his end plates are gone. So unfortunate for that Red Bull driver in his debut full-time seat race. But look at these Alpines. P1, P2 right now. Very, very nice for the Alpine squad. If you're an Alpine fan, you are just having a field day right now. Ethan Davies sitting in P3, losing one position off to Chog. Kiwi in that P4, looking very nice up there in the Kick Sauber. Now, you usually don't see Kick Saubers up this high, so very nice for a change of case. Randro on the restart. Here he is, braking very, very heavily, locking up a lip. You can see all those flashing lights as they're turning off their gyros, looking for a great, great exit. And here comes Ethan Davies trying to get by Chog, but Chog giving him just enough room, but not enough to go for an overtake. Ethan Davies still trying to stick it, still trying to make something happen, but he just doesn't want to have it. Panda getting by Captain Redbeard. So Captain Redbeard so bad on these without the end plates. You can see him struggling to rotate that car. It's going to be a hassle for him. He's going to need to go into the pits. He's going to need to change that. Look for something to 2 teammates. Side by side, Dre getting by though. Santi still sitting in that P12 spot. Chonquito sitting in that P2 spot. He's going to have a lot of pressure from Ethan Davies behind him. And KNYT Kid comes into the pit, so does Captain Redbeard, so does Aston. And Solzy, and Sub-Zero for race. So 5 people all coming into the pit lane. So unfortunate for him. The Alpine swapping position as Chonquito now leads. Davis getting by Sergeant Poonslayer. Sergeant Poonslayer trying to go late on the brakes, but here comes Kiwi! Kiwi out of nowhere getting by Sergeant Poonslayer. Now we're watching this battle 3 wide as we head into the S's. Kiwi trying to get by, just not able to make anything happen as there's contact up there in the front. I wonder if Kiwi got damaged from that. On the inside goes Sergeant Poonslayer. Kiwi having the better traction on the outside, getting by and sticking it though. But Sergeant Poonslayer still not over, still trying to stick it within that inside, trying to make that position happen, just not able to make anything happen though. Dan dropping down a couple of positions as Randro climbs up into that P5. This battle is going to slow them down, looking for something. Randro getting up. Now there's going to be a big trend. Chonkito leads, then Ethan, Kiwi, Sergeant Poon sits in that P4 spot. Randro in P5, not very far behind. Here's Dan in P6, Panda in P7. Oh, and this big train. Trey just left, so I think I need to invite him. But holy action on the first couple of laps. Hopefully it dies down a little bit, but I kind of don't want it to. I kind of want to keep this going. I kind of want to see how everything plays out. Here are your tires, and there is the tire strategy. Probably a lot of people going these medium hard, or the medium hard if they can. Panda getting a 10-second penalty for spitting in the pit lane. Chalk still leading. Ethan Davies putting in a lot of pressure. You can see him looking for something. Chalk trying to squeeze him off. Just not really able to. Tries to force him to a different line. Just doesn't go how Chalk wants. Getting a better traction out of the corner though. And you can see him. He has so much speed on Ethan Davies. Is he going to try to do something here? Or is he going to have to play it safe? Looking. Chalk looking everywhere. Trying to break that dirty air. Look for something. But I think he might just be waiting for the DRS. Trying to get him there. KNYT. Oh, big little pileup. Captain Redbeard getting slowed down as he has to deal with all these drivers. We saw this guy qualify so high up, and now he's fighting with KNYT. Side by side, these guys go. KNYT hitting and locking in the side of Captain Redbeard for a second, but then he lets him go. KNYT still on this outside, still trying to get by Captain Redbeard. Captain Redbeard not able to make anything go. Has to sit. Ethan Davies still sitting in this P1 spot. Chong not able to get by just yet. Looking still. Kiwi and that P3. Sergeant Poonslayer in P4. Still looking at the back of Kiwi. Trying to regain his first place that he had at the start of the race. But now he's down in P4. So maybe his admirations, his laurels are kind of being drained. We saw Kiwi that big slip up. And that's just going to lose so much time. Kiwi losing the position to Sergeant Poonslayer. Now Sergeant Poonslayer going to want to catch up. Want to be in the DRS of these guys, as we're going to get a great view of this battle here. Both locking up, but Ethan Davies just locking up slightly more. So Chong just gets the better exit, getting away. Now the DRS is open, so Chong and Ethan Davies going to keep fighting as we head into the Sector 2 area. But Ethan Davies taking a different line. Chong still leaving the room. It's going to be very hard battling. Like I said, these guys are going to need to work for their positions. This is not easy game anymore. This is all hard work. Oh, so close to contact, but Ethan Davies corrects himself, so there's nothing. There's a yellow flag in the back for, I think that's Panda. And Ethan Davies finally gets by Chonkito. Oh, what a battle that we just witnessed. Chonk gonna have the DRS, though. I think Sergeant Poon is also gonna have the DRS. Ethan Davies does not, but I think he's gonna be burning a lot, because we can see Chonk struggling for that pace. Sorry for neglecting these guys in the back. Trying to watch Solz, trying to get by Captain Redbeard, just not able to stick it though. But he is now as Captain Redbeard goes off track, losing that position to Solz. Now he breaks his left end plate again. Captain Redbeard just in a world of hate and burn. Just going to be so hard for him to find places in this race. It's going to be so hard for him to do anything. Dan sticking on the back of Randro sticking in the back of Kiwi sticking in the back of Sergeant Poonslayer sticking in the back of Chonkito, and Chonkito sticking in the back of Ethan Davies. Oh my god! Words! Solzy still on the back of this Aston Martin now of Aston. Solzy on the softs. Well, Aston is on the medium, so Solzy should be able to get by here rather quickly, but he's going to struggle for pace. With this dirty air, it's going to be struggling, especially if he doesn't have the battery for it. We're going to have to watch and see what he can do here. If he can keep up with Aston, try to go for a pass, or if he's just going to stay behind. So many questions need to be answered, but it's just going to be a second before we get that. Chonkito looking still with Ethan Davies, still looking for something, trying to get by. Right now, it's a one podium for the Red Bull of Ethan Davies. Then Chog and Poonslayer sit that P2, P3 KNYT kid with our first time penalty of track limits on lap 5. So, I don't know what we're doing there. Red Panda sitting in the back in P9. 16 seconds to the guy in front and 3 seconds to the guy behind. Struggling on the pace, but softs will help him propel a little bit. Ethan Davies slowly maybe creating that gap. Chonkito trying to stick by. It is so important to be within the DRS, especially at a track like this where straight line speed is everything. If you don't have the DRS, if you don't have the ERS, you're just going to lose, and you're going to get eaten out so quickly. So your goal is to just push as long as you can, and we're seeing all of these guys do that. Chonkito in that P2, Sergeant Poonslayer in P3, Kiwi in P4. I have to go away for really quickly because I need to invite Dre again. So Chonkito still putting a lot of that pressure onto Ethan Davies' back. You know that he wants to go in. You know that he wants to make something happen. But you just got to wait. He can't be quick. He can't be an early, like, trying to go for something. Otherwise, you're going to have issues. You're going to cause problems. And there's going to be contact. Poonslayer still sitting behind, watching his teammate try to catch up. It's going to be a really hard game of this mental ship, as Captain Redbeard gets a 10-second for speeding in the pit lane. So now he's gonna sit in the back with a 10-second penalty. Gonna be so rough for him. Chonkito still struggling. Oh, a little bit of a traction loss there as we watch him round that hairpin. Here is Sergeant Poonslayer ready to pick up any pieces that Chonkito leaves, ready to help his teammate out if he can in any way. Kiwi in that P4. Maybe struggling for pace now as we're watching that time gap just slowly drip away, and we're watching Randros just gain. So Kiwi maybe at their limit, maybe struggling now to keep up in Randro's going to be held down a little bit. We see Dan. Dan is in P6 looking very comfortable, just not within that DRS anymore that he was holding on to. Chonkito in this P2. He's going to have the DRS now. But Ethan Davies is going to be burning a lot now. We're going to even see Chonk burning. Both of them just want a piece of each other. They want to be able to fight. They want to be able to fight for this win. Both of them really want this so badly. Chonk and Ethan Davies side by side. We're going to get a great view from Sergeant Poonslayer's POV. Chonk going to have that DRS. Here is Ethan Davies going to the right, stopping Chonk, but Sergeant Poonslayer going through, getting both moves done. Ethan Davies trying to stick it. It's going to be really hard, though, when we see Chonk watching. That was all Chonk's work. He helped slow down Ethan Davies, allowing Sergeant Poonslayer to go into that P1, and Chonk still all over the back of Ethan Davies, ready to come when he wants, ready to go all over, ready to go all in on this move for this P2 spot. But you can't be too risky, otherwise you risk breaking your wing, you risk ruining your race to Ston. And KYT Kid looking for something. There's going to be a lot of action here, even if it's not just focusing on the front of Ston. Looking at the back of KYT Kid, these two have very similar pace as we're watching them. Solz with a time penalty for the track limits. Chonk slowly falling off the back of Ethan Davies. He's struggling for pace now. Maybe these, after being in dirty air for so long, Chonk's tires are slowly giving in way too early than you want. I mean, we're watching that gap. It's going back by tenths and tenths, and even now, it was like 5 tenths. And yeah, we're watching Chonk head into the pit lane, just not happy with his tires and their performance. So leaving his teammate to defend, leaving him bare bones, maybe giving a little bit of blue balls, not able to help put pressure on Ethan Davies. Now Ethan Davies gonna just be focusing on getting by Sergeant Spoonslayer. Not gonna have any help from Chonk to help defend that position. Santi getting by Chonk in the pit lane. So Chonk is gonna come out onto the hard set tires. Those are not gonna last 21 laps, I don't think. So it's gonna be a rough race for Chonk. He's gonna have to do the 2-stop. He's gonna have to make something work. Otherwise, he is just gonna be beat by these guys. These guys just gonna be able to edge for so much longer. Gonna be able to ride their wave, ride these tires, and make them last for so much longer. Captain Redbeard is in a similar boat. He is on the medium tires. He has had to pit twice so far in this race. So he's going to lose so much time because of that. Dre over the curbs trying to get by Sub-Zero for race. This is going to be a very nice battle. These softs are definitely just not going to have the pace that you still want. Oh, Dre getting by Sub-Zero for race very nicely in the DRS zone. Sergeant Poonslayer still leading this race. Ethan Davies close behind, staring at the back of Sergeant Poonslayer, looking at his sweet, succulent ass as he's trying to get by, trying to make something happen. Maybe he's sliding a little bit. This dirty air is going to be so atrocious for dirty air, especially around a circuit like this, where you have so many of these faster corners where you're not fully braking. and these tires are going to get worn so quickly. We already saw that issue with Chalk, who had to pit a lap earlier, as it gets by the judge. Dan into the pit lane, maybe dealing with that same issue that Chalk was having. So Chalk is going to be in P7 out. He's probably going to get by Dan in the pit lane, but now Chalk has so much work to do to be able to catch up. He's going to really need to make these tires work. He's going to have to kick it into high gear. He's going to have to make something work. Sergeant Boomslayer and Ethan Davies swapping positions. So now Ethan Davies leads this race for the millionth time. Sergeant Boomslayer is trying to hold on. Kiwi watching this battle, maybe getting closer if they fight. Kiwi would be so appreciative if they fight, if they crash, if they give him DRS, anything to help Kiwi's race would be so beneficial for those kick Saubers. Aston and KNYT side by side as we head into Sector 2 and through the S's. We've seen a battle here so many times before. KNYT just barely able to hold out though. Audrey and Santi fighting as they head out into the S's. This is just not a very nice place to be battling, but sometimes it's just what has to happen. Solz and Captain Redbeard really close to each other now. Sergeant Boomslayer still trying to push. Kiwi gonna be within that DRS, I think. No, he's not, so he's gonna head into the pits off of the 8-lap old mediums. Sergeant Boomslayer getting by Ethan Davies very quickly, very nicely. That's exactly the type of move that you want. Something where you don't have to work too hard for it and you can just get it done. Ethan Davies is going to be all over the back of Sergeant Boomslayer though. He's going to have the speed, he's going to have the DRS. So he's going to look for something on his inside. He's going to back out immediately though. Just doesn't think he wants to risk it right now. Bit of a slide for Sergeant Boomslayer, but he's able to save it. And you can even see that time gap is going to be slowly going down. Right now, it's going to be a question of who can drive better. I don't know if the tires are really going to be an issue right now. It's all going to be dependent on who has the better lines, who can race better, who has more pace. Tronquito and Kiwi looking. Kiwi with the overcut, able to make it work as Chonk sits in P5 behind Kiwi, wanting to get by. He's going to have the DRS advantage, but maybe not an ERS advantage at all. This kick Sauber so desperate to be in this top 5, not wanting to give up any positions. So looking for something, this undercut for Chalk just so far not going the way that you really want. I mean, Chalk had to pit so early. His tires, with all of the dirty air, just not able to really do their job, not able to look for something. And now he's going to be struggling behind Kiwi. He's going to be struggling for pace. He's going to be struggling to get by. And he's going to deal with more and more of this dirty air, something that he was looking to avoid. And now he has more of it. Aston and KNYT Kid and Santi all right next to each other, all looking for something, all ready to make each other come. There's going to be a little bit of a sandwich here. Aston trying to look for a move on a KNYT Kid, just not able to make it happen there. Here is Solz and Captain Redbeard. Maybe a little bit of contact, but I don't think there was any punishment there for Solz trying to make that move happen. Yeah, no end plate damage, no wing damage, so he got very unscathed by that. Just a little nick, maybe. And here goes Solz trying to get a move done on the outside, and now in the inside, the chicane, just not able to make it happen, not able to make it stick. So unfortunate. Ston with a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. Right, Panda comes in off his 8-lap old softs, and maybe the softs are a way to go. Chonquito thinking he can get by Kiwi as we join on his on-board cam, just not able to. Kiwi with a tiny bit of a mistake, but able to recover so quickly compared to Chog. Chog just struggling for pace still. This dirty air just not helping him at all. Red Panda moves to the back of the grid after coming into the pit lane. Aston with that penalty, sitting in P13, gonna get fighting with Solz now as he exits the pit lane. Solz with the warmed up tires though, just able to make it by. Able to be at stake now, following Captain Redbeard, trying to make it back into that DRS. It's going to be a little bit of an issue. Audrey off track. He's going to retire from the session. There's a fat penalty given, and there's a safety car. There's a safety car out. Sergeant Boomslayer, Ethan, and Randall are all going to be so happy about this. They're going to get a free pit stop. I wish I could have saw what happened. It looked like Sub-Zero for Race and the judge and maybe Audrey hit each other. Looking for damage, yeah, I mean, the judge just doesn't have a wing at all, so it must have been something with that. But yeah, Randall, Ethan, Oh, Ethan Davies and Sergeant Poonslayer are all going to be so happy about that free pit stop. Kiwi and Sean going to be struggling, though, as they head into the pit lane. Maybe hoping that Dan also comes to the pit lane instead of looking for a track position, but Dan does go for the track position, so I think these guys are going to be behind Dan. It's going to be really, really close, though, but yeah, Dan just able to make it by. Not able to make something happen. Chalk getting a new wing, so there must have been a little bit of damage on that. Maybe a little bit of a contact with Kiwi. Maybe that's why he was struggling to get by Kiwi. Onto the hard set of tires goes Chunkita, though. Someone hit the T4 bump? That would be so unfortunate in a league race like this. So I really hope not. Sub-Zero for race getting a 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. I do want to look at tires, but I also want to look at penalties really quick. So Santi with a drive-through penalty, a Ston 10-second penalty. Sub-Zero for race, it's a 30-second penalty, bro. What are we doing? Solz retires out of P13, so unfortunate for him. Captain Redbeard serving his 10-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. And Cam Ticket also having a drive-through. It looks like he might retire off track. Maybe? I don't know what he's doing. Okay. So Sergeant Poonslayer is going to be leading our restart in a little bit. Ethan Davies sits in P2. Behind him, this Alpine Red Bull rivalry has been going on all right, so we're going to have to keep watching that Randor sitting in P3. After a poor qualifying performance, but getting lucky with that safety car, able to keep his pace on the older mediums and able to stick with these top three. Dan, with this track position, is going to have a little bit more worn hard tires. And yeah, KYT can retire from the session. So now if you just finish, you're going to get points. Good job, guys. So Dan, like I said, getting this track position rather than the fresh tires. Kiwi on the fresh mediums, going to be in P5. Looking to get by. Looking to make something happen. Chonk in P6, having to fix his wing onto the fresh new set of hards. He was running in that top 3, top 4 very, very consistently, but now he's sitting in P6. But we saw in Spain how good of a recovery drive this man can have. Ston coming into the pit lane now. Off of the 2-lap wall to soft. Start in looking for a P6. Santi needs to get a ban, apparently. KYTK not happy with Santi. Panda apparently happy with his P7, but he does want a P6 if he can, and I don't know. I mean, Dan would be your biggest help there. Santi on the soft set of tires. The Ston onto the fresh hard. Sub-Zero for race. Going to be coming in, maybe serving his penalty. I wonder if that's what Ston was doing. Yeah, I feel so sorry for you, Dre. I kept inviting you, and I kept trying to make something, and it's so unfortunately came out the safety car. Me and Santi were side by side, and I guess he wanted to hit in his position, so he hit me and spun me around, and then I got a 10-second and a drive-through and another 10-second. Okay, my T-Kid. Santi might be in a little bit of deep water then, from what it sounds like. But that's up to the stewards. Which I am a steward, so look at me, guys. Look, I'll be able to help. Oh, unfortunate, Dre. Unfortunate, yeah. That's so unfortunate. Connection issues seem to be one of our biggest issues. Red Panda getting by Chonk? Panda, you want to give that position back to Chonk, or are we just overtaking under safety car now? Looks like we're just having a little bit of a goof off. Maybe just wanking each other off. Oh my gosh. Oh, R.I.P. Dre. Oh my goodness. Dre. So as it stands on our restart, Sergeant Poonslayer will be that P1 leading the way. Ethan Davies in P2 in the Red Bull. Rangro in P3 and the Aston Martin Dan in P4. Kiwi in P5 and the Kick Saber. Chunk in P6 and the Alpine Panda in P7 and the V-Garb Santi P8 and the Haas
a Stalin P9 in the Aston Captain Redbeard P10 and the Red Bull, the Judge P11 in the Williams, and Sub-Zero for race in P12 in the V-Guard. I enjoy the safety car because it gives me a second to catch my breath, because we've had 14 laps of non-stop chaos, and I needed a little bit of a break. So I appreciate Solz, KYT getting there doing everything else back there because of that, because this gives me an opportunity to catch my breath, to breathe. Alright, looks like safety car should be in this lap. So unfortunate for Sub-Zero for race, who just won't be able to attend the restart. Well, all of our eyes will be on Ethan Davies in this P2 spot in the Red Bull. I mean, he is the man to go! Speaking of go, I think our race start might have been happening. Nope, never mind. I pranked y'all. Red Panda getting a 3-second under the safety car. So unfortunate. Just waiting for this restart to happen. Here he comes all the way to that left side of your screen. Goes Sergeant Poonslayer, trying to break that slipstream off of Ethan Davies. Ethan Davies also getting a really good restart. Rainrow with a good restart. Kiwi looking for something. Gonna be able to get by Dan. Able to stick it. Chonquito looking in the back of Dan. He wants to make this move quick. And you know it. Dan gubbing off to the left. Here comes Chonk to give him a little bit of a stroke. Maybe tickle his balls a little bit while you're just fucking him, Chonk. And there goes Chonk going into P5 now and looking at the back of Randro Kiwi onto the mediums. Looking for something. Their tires should be the best ones out here. It's all going to be a question, though, if Kiwi can make these last 14 laps to get by. Oh, big slide for Kiwi. Randro not able to really capitalize off of that. Here's the helicopter cameras we're watching. I think, is that another safety car? It's another safety car. What are we doing? What? It's not off track. Okay. Okay. I don't know exactly what happened, but there's another safety car out. Oh. Aston apparently just turned right on the straight. I'm appreciating this little break that I get, this little breather. Chonk in P5, maybe struggling a little bit. We saw this man up in P3 before. He led the race for a couple of laps. And so seeing a man of Chonk speed in P5 just so unfortunate. Rainrow. In P4, we thought this man would maybe be a podium runner. But he's going to be struggling. Kiwi sits in front in the medium tires. These are definitely going to go the way now, especially with the second safety car coming out. Ethan Davies in P2, Sergeant Doomslayer in P1. Dan sits in P6 with Panda right behind him in P7 to Judge in P8. Santi P9. Captain Redbeard P10. It's Don P11. It's Sub-Zero for race in P12. Y'all see what Millie Alcock looks like as Supergirl? She's fine as fuck, bro. I'm excited for the Supergirl movie. I have yet to watch the Superman movie, though. I'm just trying to fill up the space for me. so tired, bro. I'm so tired. Bro, I'm allowed to call girls hot. I'm allowed to call girls hot, bro. Lewis, bro. I love you, Lewis. Still just waiting for Sub-Zero for Race to catch up. He has yet to catch up, even though we've had a lot of laps for him, too. I haven't earned the right for what? Oh, to call ladies hot. That's my bad, honestly. I have all the right to do whatever I want. I'm driving while watching this. Bro's drinking and driving. My life. Sub-Zero for Race, still in the very back. The watching this, it's the typing. I text and drive all the time. Don't tell my parents though. Otherwise they'd probably take away my car keys. And then I can text you drive. Still waiting. I bet this safety car will be in this lap. If it's not, I'm going to be very, very sad. Because I want to go back to racing. A little bit of toasty waffle. I had a league race in Imola today, and I fucking sucked buns because of my setup. I'm blaming my setup. I just also feel like something changed about my game. I feel like driving is different now. And it's not my fault. Unless it is my fault. The last time I checked, it wasn't. Alright, still yet another safety car under the, or another lap under the safety car. We're gonna have, like, 11 laps of racing, right? Yeah, like 11-ish. I don't know. I just got here. The judge and Santi jerking each other off a little bit. Nothing hurts with a little friendly jerk. A little stroke here and there never hurt a friendship. Alright, Sub-Zero has officially caught the pack. So yay, Sub-Zero. Everyone cheer for Sub-Zero. Bro, Sub-Zero is still yet to catch. Never mind, I take back everything I said. Oh, I just cracked my neck and that. It feels so good. Oh my god. Dude, I thought I just paralyzed myself for a second. Oh my god, that fucking hurt. Oh my god. Alright, Chalk in that P5 spot. Looking for something. He got a position off the last restart. Can he get one off of this restart? But I'm still looking at Ethan Davies. I really want to watch Kiwi though. Kiwi on the medium tires. I'm going to be looking. There goes a end plate of a Haas. Santi retiring from the session. Oh, that's going to mess up everybody behind them. Oh, no. But here comes the grid as the safety car pulls into the pits, just waiting on that restart, waiting to see exactly what happens. Waiting for Sergeant Poonslayer to go off, and there he goes. The restart has officially started. Kiwi on the outside of Captain Redbeard. So much contact. Oh, there goes Ethan Davies. Sorry, not Captain Redbeard. Oh, no. There's so much contact. Randro sitting that P4. Dan getting by Chonk. So does Red Panda. So now Chonk sitting P7. Still trying to hold up into Red Panda. Just not able to. Going off the switchback of Red Panda. And there he makes it. So Chonk back up into 6th place. Looking at Dan. Looking to make something happen. 2/10 is 3/10 is the scat between Kiwi and Ethan Davies. Ethan Davies locking up a little bit. You can see that tire smoke. Here is Kiwi though. Looking for something, looking for a move to be made, wanting to get into that top 2. He's going to be all over the back of Ethan Davies, even if he slides a little bit like we just saw there. Oh, wait. Kevin Redbeard getting by the judge. The judge now setting P9 for his William team. Kiwi slowly trying to catch up to Ethan Davies. Ethan Davies struggling for pace now. He doesn't have that slipstream that he once had. He doesn't have anything that he once had, so he's going to struggle so much for pace. He's not going to have DRS because it's not enabled until next lap. So I have to watch and wait to see what happens. Kevin Redbeard ever getting closer to Red Panda, looking maybe for a move, but thinks better of it. Backs out, goes back to the racing line. And DRS is officially enabled, so now we're going to see Ethan Davies getting ever closer to Chonky. Is going to have the DRS here. Randro, oh, sorry, there was a big slide there. I thought that Ethan Davies might have been, ended up going the wrong way. It's Don getting by the judge. The judge struggling so much for pace here right now. So unfortunate. Yeah, so Ethan Davies does get by Sergeant Poonslayer, but Sergeant Poonslayer isn't done with that position, just not able to have the traction or the speed for it. So unfortunate for Sergeant Poonslayer, who has led the last couple of laps. Now he's going to be all over the back of Ethan Davies, so he's going to have Kiwi to deal with. Raindro sitting in that P4, out of that DRS, Dan out of DRS, Chonk out of DRS, and now he has to deal with Kevin Redbeard. So it's still going to be an Alpine Red Bull fight for both people. Sergeant Poons there on the attack, though, while Chonkito will be on the defense. It's going to be interesting to see how both of these battles play out, see which team is really the better team, and now is the really good place to show your pace. Ethan Davies sitting in that P1, Sergeant Poonslayer in P2, Kiwi P3, Rainer in P4, Dan in P5, Chonk in P6, Kevin Redbeard P7, Red Panda P8, Astana Vista, Estinova? I don't mind. Astan and P9, the judge in P10, Sub-Zero for race in P11, still so struggling for pace, even though he, oh god, he had things, yeah, again. Dan into the pit lane. But for what is my question? He is onto new medium tires. That's what. Ethan Davies and oh, Kiwi also going to be trying to get by Sergeant Poonslayer here. Looking for something, trying to go around the outside now, looking for the switchback that we saw Chonk make not too long ago. Kiwi trying to stick it, just doesn't quite have the speed though. Backs out, letting Poonslayer into P2. Still gonna be there though, all over the back of Poonslayer. Poonslayer gonna have to do a lot of work defending, gonna have to do a lot of work trying to keep up with Ethan Davies now. So now the roles have reversed after a couple of laps. Sergeant Poonslayer struggling for the space, struggling to stay within Ethan Davies' DRS, but Kiwi also on that back, trying to get by Chonkito. Got passed by Captain Redbeard, so now it's gonna be a Red Bull Alpine. Some people are in a Red Bull Alpine, some Alpine. Going to be a little bit in the mud right now, looking to maybe recover points, trying to be out and beat to the Red Bulls, trying to get that championship title that Davis has held on to for so long. Ethan Davies still sitting in that P1 spot. Poonslayer trying to catch up slowly doing it. It's going to be a long train of this. I mean, there's just going to be so much back and forth between using ERS, not using ERS, using ERS, not using ERS. So it's just all going to come down to who has pace. Chonkito in that P6. He's going to be out of that DRS of Captain Redbeard. Ethan Davies getting passed by Sergeant Pinkster. Trying to go for the switchback, trying to stick it around the outside, just not having the traction, not having the pace. Who has the DRS, though? That's going to be my question. It's going to be Ethan Davies. So Ethan Davies on the inside of Sergeant Poonslayer. Sergeant Poonslayer trying to stick it out, though. Trying to make that move stick. Trying to keep it there. Just not able to have the traction that you might want, especially for a section like this where it's so high speed. And that dirty air is going to be such a big killer. Istong getting ever closer to Chong, but not able to get within that DRS. Now he has Red Panda behind to deal with on the 11th lap, Old Hards. I wonder if these people are going to pit again or if they're just going to try to make it last. And that P2, he's going to have the DRS now, so he's going to be pushing and pushing, trying to catch up to Ethan Davies, see what he can do. That time gap, not really moving at all. It's just so consistent. It's going to be so interesting to see who comes out on top. It's going to be such a long battle, though. Kevin Redbeard, I think, has this little battle between them secured, though, as he's slowly catching time up to Rainbow being maybe held back a little bit. With Kiwi in front of him, Kiwi having Sergeant Poonslayer in front of him, and Sergeant Poonslayer having Ethan Davies in front of him. Kiwi looking and catching so quickly up to Sergeant Poonslayer. Just really doesn't have the pace, so maybe looks for a move on the inside, just doesn't think of it, though. Doesn't want to make something risky, doesn't want to try anything, though. Red Panda dips into the pits off of his 12-lap Old Hard, so I wonder if it is going to be yet another pit stop. Maybe going to be like a 5-lapper if they come into the pits and pit for these soft-sided tires if they still have pace. Chonquito in P6 struggling for pace. He's going to be looking and waiting, trying to do anything he can on Captain Redbeard, but Captain Redbeard has so much pace, especially on these newer, fresher tires. The softer compound, 8 laps compared to Chonk's 11 laps, so Captain Redbeard going to be slowly just able to push away from Chonk. Going to be able to keep him out of his DRS, and Chonk can't push, maybe can't catch up, so Captain Redbeard going to be really smart for that. If he can use his strategy wisely, maybe get that P5 for his team. A 1-5 would be so nice for the Red Bull team here, who is currently fighting the Alpine. Sergeant Poonslayer slowly dropping back to Ethan Davies, which is exactly what Ethan Davies wants. But he's just going to catch up so much on these straights, so I wonder if the wing difference is just so much that on these straights, Sergeant Poonslayer is gaining a lot, and on the corners, that's Ethan Davies' territory to run in. We're going to have to watch and see Sergeant Poonslayer getting ever and ever closer to Captain Davies, but I don't know if it's going to happen just yet. It's going to be a second before it happens, I think, even though I think it might happen on this DRS straight. It's going to be really close, though. So yeah, that DRS does open, but he does not burn at all. He's going to be saving a lot of his power. So does Ethan Davies. Kiwi maybe struggling for pace a little bit, trying to get by. You see them on the medium-sized tires while everyone else around them is on the hards. You would think the Kiwi has more pace. There is that that 3-second penalty for Kiwi for going off track several times and getting position. So just unfortunate for Kiwi, who's now sitting in that P3 spot with a penalty right now, losing out to Ranro. And maybe Captain Redbeard can keep pushing a little bit. Chunky slowly losing pace. Oh, big mistake for Chong as we join him. So Chong, I think his best position right now would be AP6 unless there's carnage. So it's just so unfortunate for Chong. Captain Redbeard kind of in that same boat. Just got slapped around at the beginning of the race, and now his cock is all just beaten out. Not able to put in any pace to put himself in a top 3 spot that he might want. Kiwi in this P3, looking at the back of Sergeant Poonslayer, looking and waiting. That little bit of a lockup for Sergeant Poonslayer. Could lose him a lot of speed. Gonna have to watch Kiwi, see if Kiwi wants to make a move soon, or if he's just gonna be stuck in this P3 spot for the kick. We're watching this happen. Sergeant Poonslayer on the inside, on the right side, walking up a lot as he tries to get past Ethan Davies, leaving that space. Very nice as these guys battle. Kiwi gonna be looking to maybe follow someone through. Chooses to follow Ethan Davies. Chooses to go around the outside. Maybe gonna get the little bit of a better run into this corner. Following Sergeant Poonslayer, just not able to quite make anything happen. So Ethan Davies is still gonna leave. Sergeant Poonslayer is gonna be in that P2. Kiwi still sitting in P3. Ranger sitting in P4, looking and waiting. He has had all the time to just sit and watch these battles. So Randro going to be in a world of hurt. I know that that's not the type of race that I would want to just sit and watch. So unfortunate for Randro, who wants to be on this podium spot, but right now is not. But I know penalties can mix things up, and I know that they will mix things up. Chog still sitting in that P6. Hasn't really gained any time to Captain Redbeard and hasn't really lost any time to Captain Redbeard. Still hovering around that 2-second mark. But maybe those mediums have died out a little bit. Maybe that time is slowly going up. Just really hovering around there, really just edging us all. Really keeping us on our seats, but we don't want to get blue balls. So, Chunky, to maybe do something if you have the pace. Don't if you don't. Here is Sergeant Pinkslayer, though, in this P2, in the Alpine, looking to get by Ethan Davies. He's going to have so much speed as he has the DRS here. This is one where you definitely want to try to keep this lead now, where you want to be leading the next couple of laps, because if you can lead the final third sector heading into the final lap, then you're just going to be so set for life. Kiwi still watching this battle. Sergeant Pinkslayer still just struggling for pace, just not able to do anything, and he's going to still just be sitting and watching the butt of Ethan Davies not able to do anything here. Just watching and waiting. He is all the time in the world to plan for something. He just hasn't had the pace, hasn't had the opportunity to, because Sergeant Pinkslayer and Ethan Davies have just been trading each other, just been able to maybe help each other, but also hurt each other at the same time. They've been swapping and fighting. So he has been having that pace, has been having the opportunities, but just really hasn't been. Chunky and P6 slowly getting to Captain Redbeard, while Captain Redbeard maybe slowly dropping back from Moonbro. Chunk's tires, I wonder if they are just going to be better than Captain Redbeard at this stage in the race, just because Captain Redbeard is on the mediums. So statistically, they will die a lot earlier than these hard tires. Still just watching Raindrop, big lockups from everyone in front. Kiwi and Sergeant Sergeant Pinkslayer slowly catching. This top three are all the new guys, all just dominating this tier Raindrop, where you normally would see him up in the top, just not able to have really any pace. Sergeant Pinkslayer getting by, trying to park it and trying to defend so hard. I think he's going to have the DRS here, unless I'm mistaken, which I don't actually know. These two still side by side as we head into the corner. They are right on the limit. They are really just edging each other, trying to push each other to the limit, see how close they can get to coming before it happens. Ethan Davies has done a really good job of staying in front of Sergeant Pinkslayer this entire race. Here is Kiwi, though. Kiwi slowly catching Sergeant Pinkslayer, trying to do something, trying to make something happen. He just can't, so Kiwi just going to be sitting behind, just waiting and watching Sergeant Pinkslayer in that P2 spot, wanting to get a win here today in Bahrain, just not really able to have the pace, though. I mean, this dirty air is going to be affecting him so much. His tires are probably going to be 20 times worse than Ethan Davies, just because Ethan has had that clean air, has had the opportunity to push a lot more in that clean air. Kiwi in this P3 spot. Raindrop catching, though. Raindrop looking for maybe something here. Looking to make something happen, though. Dan with a time penalty in that P10 spot. Dan we saw so high up at the start of this race, maybe sitting in that P6 spot, but now he's in P10 with a time penalty. But he doesn't really have to worry about Sub-Zero for race, who is so far behind him. Sergeant Pinkslayer still trying to catch up, still trying to make something happen. You want to be leading heading into the final lap, I think. There's so much that can still happen. Still watching and waiting. These three have just kept up with each other for so long. Randro also here trying to just capitalize off of Kiwi's penalty, trying to force him out of that 3-second penalty. Chalk has lost so much time, and now he has a penalty. Oh no, big mistake for Chalk. Big mistake for Chalk. But these guys still who I want to follow. This Alpine, this Red Bull, the Kick, and the Aston Martin, who's just in the background of your screen. Captain Redbeard trying to catch up. It just doesn't quite have the pace on these 13th lap old mediums. Kiwi probably also feeling the same effect as Captain Redbeard. The 16 lap old mediums definitely not going to be what you want to drive on. Not going to be fun. You can even see that time just going away. I mean, that 9.5 tenths going to be right, tinkering right on the edge, just teeter-tottering it so hard. Randro going to have a lot more pace now. If he wants to try to get a podium on track, now would be the time to try for something. Sergeant Poonslayer has tried to make a move here so many times before, and if he doesn't stick this time, then I think he does lose this race to a P2. Trying to do it, and he just doesn't quite have the traction that Ethan Davies does, but now he's going to try to stick it still. Going to be trying to go by. Who has the DRS? It's going to be Ethan Davies, so Ethan Davies with this DRS is going to be on the outside of Sergeant Poonslayer, or Sergeant Poonslayer trying to stick it on the inside, trying to make it happen, trying to make something happen, but just the traction doesn't help him at all. So now Sergeant Poonslayer is going to be in a tricky situation. Where do you burn? Where do you try to get by? Do you even try to get by, or do you just accept defeat? Do you accept this P2? Do you accept that you're not going to win and that you're going to lose out to Red Bull, or what? That's going to be my question. Randro losing, losing so much time. I mean, that gap was like 6 tenths. It was 3 tenths at one point, I think, and now it's hovering around that second mark, trying to stay within. Randro is, but just not going to be really able to. Kiwi has done a really good job of taking care of these 16-lap old tires. Ethan Davies is going to be still leading as we head into Sector 3. Watching and waiting. Who will come out on top, though? It all comes down to this. Who has more battery? Who can burn more? What is going to happen? Sergeant Poonslayer does not make a move. And there has been so much action, but Ethan Davies from P2 on the grid, able to come home and pull off a win in Tier 2 Bahrain. Sergeant Poonslayer comes in P2 after fighting for so long, just not able to stick it. Randor getting a P3 for his Aston Martin. Kiwi in P4. Captain Redbeard sitting in P5. Such an unfortunate race for him. Shankito in P6. He was running up there. He did qualify so high. It's so unfortunate to see him so far back. It's Dodd in P7 for the Aston Martin. So great day for the Astons to judge in P8. Red Panda in P9. Red Panda said that he wanted a P6. Then he said he was fine with P7. And now he's sitting in P9. Sub-0 for race. And P10 cruising on home in those 13-lap-old hards. And here is Dan. Dan on the soft set of tires. Our last finisher on track. That has been your Bahrain race. What a crazy one, full of action all the way around. But there you have it, guys. This has been your Tier 2 Bahrain race. There's not a cleanest driver of the day, apparently. But Aston is your driver of the day. Red Pin with the fastest lap. Race winners Ethan Davies, and most everything is Captain Redbeard. So here is your finishing position. Ethan Davies in that P1 spot. Sergeant Poonslayer struggling for so long, just not able to capitalize, getting a P2. Randor in P3, Kiwi P4, Captain Redbeard P5, Chalked in P6, Aston in P7, the Judge in P8, Red Panda P9, Sub-0 from race P10, Dan in P11, Santi, Solz, Kane, My Ticket, and Dre all pit. Here is your race director. Here is your drivers, and here's your pit stops. Alright. I have been Toasty Evan Brad. I'll be here tomorrow for Tier 1 Bahrain, hopefully joined by Golden Sniper, my great friend. I think you all a great weekend, even though we're halfway done, and I hope you guys have fun, and I'll see you all tomorrow.